Brides in the Hills 16. Hegedea Elenin Sok to suddenly start a commotion inside the Odi like a middle-aged adult. Thinking, Allah, that Havali Enkatana is not the same as the one I saw yesterday, but it is not happy for this one. It was early morning. The brown color of the paddy field, which had been soaked in the previous day's rain, had turned to ash. However, the thin gray line of the footpath, which snaked its way up and down the edge of the field and disappeared in the far distance behind the fence, was the main thing that caught the eye of the beholder. Heged's eyes were always looking at that, Malaya's green eyes, but his vision was not dim, nor was his vision a little dim, but it was not due to weakness of the eyes, but depression of the mind. At the far end of the alley someone was walking. Heged furrowed his brow and squinted to no avail. To see if even the honey creeping along the curve of the flower's curved head would be so obvious, Saka turned to Odi with a grumble again, "He's not the one, go ahead and catch him." However, without stopping his mind, he turned to Atma again. "Eat, eat," he shouted. At that shout, the noise in the streets stopped for a moment and started again. "Tims, what do you eat?" he shouted again. This time, instead of stopping, the sound of the tusks increased, and the animals rushed to the rescue of the cage. Thimappa came running to Heged. His father saw that he was treading cautiously in the places where the water was well dry, fearing that the mud would fly to his face. "Alalalala, are you going to wear white clothes in the mud?" he said. Father talking like this was nothing new to his son, so he came close and stood without noticing anything. "Are you getting wet in the rain like your neighbor brother? Why are you wearing this white dress?" Thimappa bit the grass and said, "Why did you call me?" Heged called his son to tell him who was Huvali Venkatana, who was coming in the footpath of Gadkojan in the distance, but the angry father saw his son's clothes and said, "Go and see, there are 6 dead children or dirty children. Even the next day after it rains, you sleep until the sun comes, you don't look like you have kept the house. Nothing is ugly. Atamaka, go ahead and win. If you keep the house, then leave it." Kadapakala, Kadu. In Namanta Kal Kilada Meluan did not say this Jala. He muttered and walked back towards the field. The person coming on the footpath was so close that all the limbs were fairly clear, but the people of Heged couldn't tell who it was due to the mist that was coming up. "Put your hands up and give it to the sun and look at it." Saying that, when he turned towards the house, he saw his daughter who was slowly climbing up the stairs, wearing a silver bracelet and glass bangles with pierced eyes on her waist with a kodapan filled with water from the well in the garden. Brides in the Hills 17. To be continued.